He had a lot of sensory issues. And I will be honest, spiritually wise and endurance, that was a little tough. That was a little tough. And because it's hard when your husband doesn't agree with you. It's hard when you're the developmental specialist, which is kind of a curse sometimes. And you're like, no, something is wrong. We need to go to therapies. We need to do this and we need to do that and that. And he's like, I think he's okay. He's just a boy. He's okay. Well, it's not, this isn't normal, David. And I think that as a couple was, but it didn't affect our relationship. We just kind of, like, we didn't see eye to eye through that. But also I was married to an engineer, and engineers have to have evidence. But I think a lot of men have to have evidence. You had to have tangible evidence. And so one day, one of the speech therapists came to our home and talked and said the exact same thing I did. But, and then we noticed one thing when I was playing with Rice with Noah, and he almost threw up, and he was like, this is not normal. So we got past Noah. Noah did great. But you know what? Even through that, it just made us stronger. Just made us stronger. Well, then, 3 years and 3 days later, we had Anna. We also were told we could not have another child. Our beautiful Anna was born. Anna was easy. Anna was beautiful. She is beautiful. Anna was happy. Anna loved life. Anna was her daddy's heart, because she's a lot like me. That's what he would say. Anna was his heart. Again, hi God. Why? Life was not easy. But God's there. When you have a child that was sexually assaulted by a family member, but God never left us. God was still there. My faith did not falter because I needed him more than ever. My husband needed him more than ever. He never left us. He never forsaked us. He was there. That was Anna. You kind of get in the picture that spiritual endurance isn't just one trial. It's many things. But it doesn't mean that your faith in the Lord has to falter. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you can't question the Lord. My husband and I both, until you'll know some people know a little bit of our story, but even until the end, David still questioned, and it wasn't, but his faith did not falter. Mine did not.
And real quick,
yes.
I want to make a point, and I think that it's important for us to understand this, that when she says her faith didn't falter, what she means by that is not just her intellectual thought of, yes, I believe that God is good, yes, I believe that God is working in this situation, but it was action. It was the thought and action when the feelings said otherwise. It wasn't just the understanding, because we can all have the intellectual understanding of what faith is supposed to look like and what faith is, but the action without you see what I'm saying? And that's why I asked the question earlier about the spiritual disciplines. Did anything change there? Absolutely not. Well, I was feeling all certain types of way, but the action, it was there.
And I can tell you that in that moment, I started going through the book of Job, and I could relate to him so. And Job never turned his back on the Lord. No matter, the Lord took his family. His friends were telling him, curse God. But he didn't, and God prevailed. God showed himself. even letting him go through all these trials. But the questions were still there. Why God? Why me? I do everything right. Our family, my husband, we all do everything right. And then, 13 months later, we find out we're pregnant again. Definitely did not know that was going to ever happen. Didn't know it could at all. I'd had a little help before. Now, we didn't. God gave us Lily and Genevieve. 9 months later. Lillian rocks our world. Again, you know, you have a sick baby. You have a baby that doesn't know how to suckle. Is solely dependent upon you for 100% of their life, for their growth, for their well-being, everything. You have a child that's sick all the time. Every 2 to 3 weeks, you're always at the doctor. You have a child that cries all night long. I mean, all night long. You sit in the rocking chair, and you rock, and you rock, and you rock. Your husband comes in about 5 o'clock in the morning because you want to let him sleep, because I'll stay home, and then I have the 2 little ones because I took off of school for a while. And so, but he would get up in the middle of the night, and he'd take over and say, Mama, go sleep. You need your rest. We went to doctor after doctor, even places where they told us was the best doctors. A lot of tears, a lot of crying, a lot of questioning. What's wrong with my baby? Why is she hurting? I kept on telling people she's hurting. But no one listened. Why, God? Why are they not listening to me? Well, again, as every single child and trial we've been through, David and I are on our knees and in his word and praying. God, we need answers. Well, you know, it could be cystic fibrosis, so we went to Tulane to have a test. Not cystic fibrosis. Well, you know, it could be some kind of chemical imbalance where you have to take this medicine that breaks down her food and her body, and, you know, she might get the nutrients. Because you see, my baby was 16 months old and only weighed 12 pounds. She was 6 pounds when she was born. She looked like an Ethiopian, you know. I call her my Ethiopian baby. I hope nobody takes offense to, but she just had little skinny legs and she had a little pot belly. Well, God answered prayer, and He sent us to a huge Croatian pulmonologist. His name was Dr. Vlasic. And David and I looked at each other and said, what in the world have we gotten ourselves into? Neither of us knew God was already working. Because Dr. Vlasic said, I want you to go to this doctor. She needs sinus surgery. She needs a pediatric ENT. So we went to that doctor. And then he said, I think she might need to go to a gastroenterologist. Well, we just went to gastroenterologist, but he said this.